The police have now started to separate the crowd from women that just want to talk about what's going on with our rights. So we're just going to hold. So we're just waiting for them to move this crowd. The police are required to give instructions before they use force. So that's what's happening right now. We are at the city county building in Pittsburgh. This is the designated free speech event, and the Pittsburgh police are making a free speech event possible for us because women, when they want to speak, need armed security men to provide security so that we can actually have free speech in America. This isn't the first time this has happened. There are multiple officers here providing security for us, and they are telling us they're going to move them farther back. So I'm just waiting so we can maybe have a little bit better audio. Hold on, I'm just going to talk one more time with the police and see if this is what they're planning here. Hold on.
What is, wait, oh. Actually, it's fine. All right. What's up, Pittsburgh? What's up? I'm not even going to scream for this because I'm mic'd up. It's cool, make the noise. I got a microphone on. We live and litty all over the internet. I don't need you to hear us. You can check the live stream later. It's all good, sweetheart. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon University in 2010. This is my city. Okay? When I went to school here, we believed in open dialogue. When I went to school here, you could challenge authority. You are the man and you don't even realize it. That's the embarrassing part. You are the man. You are the fascist. That's the embarrassing part. This will become a dark period in the history where we destroyed the bodies of children, where we medically transitioned gay and lesbian and gender non-conforming people so that they can fit a heteronormative structure. That is a fallacy. That is evil. Hatred is telling a child that they were born in the wrong body and that the only way to feel normal is to cut off their healthy breasts, is to put in cross-sex hormones when coupled with Lupron, an experimental puberty blocker that is used in cancer for men. Results in sterility 100% of the time. No 11-year-old can consent to being sterilized. My daughter knows that she can play with the G.I. Joes. My son knows that it's all good if he wants to wear pink. That being a man isn't a box. That being a woman isn't a box. You're saying you're breaking out of gender? reinforce stereotypes. That if you're the girl, the little girl wants to go play with worms and maybe she's a man, maybe she's a boy. Let's get her on Lupron. I was diagnosed with cancer April 1st of 2021, and let me tell you, losing the ability to make my own natural hormones is a terrifying state. I will be dependent on exogenous hormones for the rest of my life, just like these children whose bodies you're destroying. I am now at a 10-fold increased risk of early dementia, and I'm 35 years old. What are you doing to 11 and 12 and 13-year-old girls? Putting them in instant menopause? Of course you don't want to hear it, you fucking clown. Of course you don't want to hear it. Because when people hear the truth, this shit will get shut down so fucking fast. People think they are doing the loving and the kind thing by supporting this insanity. They don't know what's involved. They don't know what a double mastectomy does to the lymph nodes of an adult, of a young woman. They don't know that when you remove lymph nodes and you can't drain toxins from your body because you told that girl that to be gender non-conforming, she had to remove her healthy breasts, you couldn't possibly know what you've done. I fought to keep my body's ability to produce estrogen on its own. And I failed. I know what this does to people's bodies. I know what this does. This isn't love. This is a dark and evil and cruel experiment on the bodies of children. We will know who the hateful ones are in time. Trust and believe me, it's nobody on this side. Got it fucked up. The police have moved in. They are pushing the protesters back. Thank you, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh police, the men in blue, have protected women today. Free speech for women. So we're gonna maybe have a little more quiet when we do our speakers corner, we're hoping. Here they go. They're advancing. The police are advancing. Back on up. Back on up. Back on up. Back on up. Well, what is refreshing is to know that there are still cities in America where the police stand up for women and girls and protect our free speech. We have gone to numerous cities where our free speech wasn't protected, and that's, there is no free speech in America unless everybody has it. So it is so comforting to know that Pittsburgh police stood up for women and girls today. And why do they want to silence us? Why? We're mostly middle-aged women, mothers, talking about the dangers of gender ideology, talking about the dangers of the gender industry. Why do they want to silence us? Why do they ban the word groomer on Twitter? Why? Because if we don't start coming out in mass numbers and taking this to the streets, they will have our free speech. We have to exercise our free speech.
I just muted.
And have it. What?
I just muted.
No. Fine.
moved this about 100 people that were being aggressive and trying to bully and intimidate women about speaking about our rights. We are a little flustered, but glad to be here. And I'm going to introduce our second speaker, because we were waiting for them to kind of give us a little more room to talk. So our second speaker is adult human female woman. Here you go. That's right. An adult female. All right. Happening in the United States. I have a really stupid thing to say. Those of us who've been following with horror the rise of genderism often find ourselves reading news from the UK, which is even farther down the path than we are here in the US. In the UK, even their police force has been captured. It seems to serve as a warning to us here in the US. The following is a sampling from the list of UK citizens. Just remember, they can hear you. It doesn't matter. This is a few of UK citizens who have been subject to police visits or arrest. Earlier this year, a disabled woman named Jennifer Swain, who uses a mobility scooter, was arrested and questioned and had her home searched, and feminist books seized by police because she had been placing stickers on lampposts with messages in defense of women's sex-based rights. Last month, another UK woman received a visit from the police for having a sticker in her window which read, "Trans ideology erases women." The shocking exchange with the officer was recorded. The officer said to her, "So I think that is quite damaging, because what you're actually doing is trying to give other people the idea of what you believe. You can express your views in your own world. This is not inside your world, is it? Anybody that comes to your door is going to see that." A cartoonist in the UK, Stella Perret, had a, quote, non-crime hate incident recorded against her after an anonymous complaint to the police about a cartoon that she published. It was just a comment about the loss of women's single-sex spaces. Women who question genderism are usually the targets of these government attempts to suppress free speech. But not always. A former police officer in the UK, Harry Miller, was visited by police in January 2020 because someone had complained about his, quote, transphobic tweets. He subsequently took legal action and won against the national policy of recording gender-critical views as, quote, non-crime hate incidents. Fortunately, a British journalist has written the following about gender capture. His name is Leo McKinstry. Quote, "Wallowing in invented victimhood, these zealots present themselves as a humanitarian engine for social progress, rooting out bigotry. On the contrary, they represent a deeply reactionary force which shows no respect for essential liberties, especially those of women. In their addiction to witch hunts, they echo the McCarthyism of the 1950s. In their rampant misogyny, they have become a kind of trans-Taliban. In their denial of biological science, they resemble a bunch of flat earthers. No man is any kind of woman." Thank you. All right. Huh? Oh, well, I decided. Do you want me to do the poem? I'll do it. Okay. Yeah, I'll just do it. Just make sure you give her credit. Yeah. You want to do it? And Bailey. Here, I guess. We laugh
laugh in your face when you tell us that we came from Adam's rib, that we were made in the image of man, a variation on a theme, deformed, twisted, an abomination. Who are you to tell us who we may be on this earth from which we were born? To say that in affinity of paths we may only walk the one we have carved, straight, narrow, and barren. We laugh in your face when you try to sell false selves to our real self, and turn around and sell us to man, our images, our bodies, identities, souls, and profit all yours. We know we were not born from you, but from the dark, fathomless womb of the earth. We are wild creatures, our essence living in every cell, not silicone, plastic, or zeros and ones. We find a new path to walk together, illuminated by a waxing moon. We dance around the fire that burns without you, and we laugh. By Bailey from Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay, we're just going to take a second here to collect ourselves. We have another adult human female coming up. Here you go. Mello, are we ready? Tell me when. There you go, adult female. I'll hold the mic for you.
Okay, thank you. First, I want to shout out to these amazing people standing here with me today. You're fearless. You will be the reason things change. Total inspiration. And shout out to our sisters in the Midwest for doing an awesome job too. No one has ever or will ever be born in the wrong body. That is a manufactured, marketed claim used by those who stand to profit in some way by selling this myth. We all know how that works because we live in a corporate-run country where profit always comes before people. Who stands to gain? Never the victims. Big pharma, conglomerate healthcare CEOs, physicians, surgeons. Last year, the Cigna CEO made $91 million when many of us weren't even working. And then there are the politicians and the special interest lobbyists. One example, Planned Parenthood is the second largest supplier of gender-affirming hormones in the U.S. Their campaign donations in 2020 were $45 million. They have pledged to donate $50 million in 2022, mostly to Democrats. None of this should come as a surprise to anyone. So why do half of the people in this country still remain so gullible to believe the fantastical claim that people can actually change their sex? It's embarrassing.
Thank you, adult and female. Well, the police, I just want to say the Pittsburgh police have done a fantastic job protecting women's free speech today. Our next speaker is Gabrielle Clark. She's getting on here. Let me get you the thing in there. Honey. Squirrel. She goes squirrel with her suffragette. I love the cat. This is solidarity.
Put a pin under my hair.
All the Black Panthers!
And I use their music to dance all day if I want to. Oh! You know what? These little children, they don't know. They don't understand. Karens of the world are going to unite. Turfs of the world are united. We are protecting the children. We are protecting society. And the men are here to help. The men came out to help us. So guess what? As a family unit, we will not be stopped. You will no longer mutilate our children. You will no longer tell our children that they are not good enough. Our kids are good enough. You need to get your mind right. Every single person out there, every single mother, every single father, every single brother, every single sister, you need to get out there and activate yourself. 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 That's right. That's right. Because every single day I fight indoctrination. Go recapture your society. Recapture your families. Recapture your communities. Recapture your churches. Recapture your mosques. Recapture everything. All the systems. Get this poison out of our lives so that we can go back to when it was good. We can go back to living life free. Living like free Americans in a free society. That's what we're going to do today. And we're going to do it with the help of the Black Panthers Platform. Hey! Activate yourself! Activate yourself! Activate yourself! Activate yourself! Activate yourself!
Thank you, Gab. That's what we like to see. We like to see women fired up and speaking, because women will be heard today in Pittsburgh. And thank you to all the men that have come to protect us and stand with us. The Pittsburgh police did a fantastic job in separating us from people that wish to harm us. Our next speaker is another adult human female. Which one wants to come up? Adult human female. Come on. Hold on a second. Let me get this mic for her.
Oh, you're so beautiful.
You want me to hold the mic? I just want to take the time to tell everyone what I am grateful for. I am grateful for the Pittsburgh police. I am grateful that they let women speak, that they let us exercise our constitutionally guaranteed First Amendment right. Thank God there is still free speech in the United States for women. And it's because of men like this. And it's because of women like this. It's because of the people who come out to do something brave, to tell the truth. Right now, the cost for telling the truth may be that some of your friends don't like you anymore. The cost for telling the truth may be that you don't get to keep your job. But this is a great time to lose a job. There's so many open, there's so many available. The cost of telling the truth is as low as it's going to be right now. This is the time to tell the truth. The stakes will only get higher the longer and longer we wait. I am grateful for my healthy body. I am so grateful that I still have a healthy female body, even though I grew up with non-stereotypical interests. I was that girl. I'm in this fight because I was that who would be in that hospital having my naturally made hormones taken out of me, having my healthy flesh cut off. But that didn't happen to me because I had a strong family. I had strong friends, and I fought like I'm fighting now. I don't want to be here either. I don't want to be doing this, but I have to. I have to because no one else is. But it's okay because we're waiting for you. We're waiting for you to come out with us. Even if you support us by liking a tweet, by retweeting a tweet, by sending a donation, making a video, whatever first step you take is a good first step. Just take that first step. Find out what it is for you, and you can do it. You can tell the truth. You can join us fighting this madness. We're here because we care about women, children, and other vulnerable people. We're here because we care about the truth and our ability to tell it. Even if you think that this is the right side of history going on across the way from us, if you can't tell the truth, if you let society dictate what you can say, what are you going to do when things turn around on you? Who are you going to go to? What are you going to do? Even if you're not concerned now, you should be concerned for your rights, because it's not just us that loses them. We all lose them, no matter what political party you're with. If one group loses their American guaranteed, constitutionally guaranteed right to free speech, we all lose it. And we don't have that peaceful way to fight this. And we want that peaceful way to fight this ideology. So please do what you can to help us now. Thank you so much. Okay, I have attended many speakers' corners, I've hosted many, and usually it's so discombobulated that I never even get a chance to do a speech. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why they want to silence middle-aged women with children that are voicing their concerns. Why does this group want to silence us? And why have they been able to silence us? You know, in many towns, we just have to leave, or we get assaulted even. So there's a group that has targeted the free speech events when we talk about gender ideology. And that is because it is a $5.2 trillion industry, according to their own website. They have a lot of money pushing this down, pushing top down, and they're funneling it through LGBTQRS. This is a total brainwashed, propaganda group and society that we're in. People have a risk aversion to stepping up. And I think it's because they think they're going to get in trouble. They think they're going to lose their job. They think they're going to lose their friend. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to live a life where I could never say what I really felt. And that's why I come out and do this. I come out, I get a lot of congratulations and thank you for doing this. But you know what? I do this for myself. I do this because I believe I deserve a voice. I believe that I expect people to listen to me because I'm important. I'm a woman and I'm important. And my voice is important. And that's why I'm going to keep doing this. I'll do this across the whole country. We might run into places that don't have free speech in America, but we're gonna point it out. We're gonna put a spotlight on the police departments that don't protect free speech. So you can guarantee that when you come to our events, it'll be exciting, and I'll be here. I'll be here because I deserve a voice in America. Every woman, every person deserves a voice in America, and nothing is going to stop us from doing that. We are going to have a special ending with the voiceless women that are in prison. We have a letter from one of them that we would like to close our speaker's corner on, and Gabs is gonna, do you want to do one more? Okay, we're gonna get Brittany up first, and then we'll have Gabs up next. Here we go.
They said it wasn't on. Okay. Woo. Ah! Okay, we're all good. Okay. I'm not going to let them elevate my energy to a point that is like, hold on. Is that good? Can you guys hear me with this mic like this? Hold on. Let's see the shift. There we go. All right, that's better. Okay. I'm just going to bring my energy down a little bit. I haven't been feeling very good lately. Like I said, as some of you know, some of you don't know, I was diagnosed with cancer in 2021. And I'm like, my energy is kind of comes and goes, and lately it's been kind of shitty. And having been diagnosed with cancer, I went through many of the physiological changes that they are putting children and young adults through for cosmetic reasons, for sociological reasons, non-medical reasons. And it's terrifying. I was diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma on April 1st, 2017. And you know, I don't want to scream and I don't want to get hyped up. They told me I might go into premature menopause at the age of 33. And I was scared because I didn't understand what that meant. Thank God I had already had my children. I have 4 beautiful, healthy children. Yet I am nowhere near the age that I should be at to be going into menopause so early. And I did a lot of research, and I learned things that I don't think that they're telling to these 18, 19, 20-year-old girls who are choosing to put themselves in a premature menopause. Boston Children's Hospital has opened the first gender clinic in the United States of America. Since that time, it has increased many thousand%. There is money to be had with gendered medicine. And at Boston Children's Hospital, they released an informational video that talks about a cosmetic hysterectomy for children, a pediatric hysterectomy for children. Our bodies are complex, deeply, infinitely complex, complicated organisms. We are an ecosystem, and every piece is interconnected. You cannot remove a piece and expect that there are not going to be potentially catastrophic impacts on that person's body. An 11-year-old child cannot consent to be sterilized. A 17-year-old girl cannot consent to have her uterus removed for cosmetic purposes because we have been ideologically captured. I am now dependent on exogenous hormones for the rest of my life. If I run out, I was down the shore when I ran out of my prescription of estrogen. I immediately went into hot flashes. I couldn't think straight. I was confused. I almost didn't feel safe to drive. I felt constantly on the verge of fainting. I had to radiate my ovaries to save my life. What are we doing? Doing this to kids. I did everything I could to protect myself so that I wouldn't have to live like this. That we are doing this to children voluntarily is unconscionable to me. It is unconscionable. We know that estrogen has an important function in the brain. We know that when you disrupt that, the brain will calcify and form plaques. We know my lifespan, my expected life expectancy is shorter because of what I went through. And I can guarantee you that these kids are being medicalized. Their life expectancy is probably also shorter. I am at a 1,000% increased risk of early dementia. And I want to be here for my kids. And I want to be cognizant. I want to be able to grow old and I want to be healthy. And what these people don't understand is how terrifying it is to have your health deteriorate. And I experienced that, and to intentionally do this to children who don't understand, who can only see things on a peripheral level. We are supposed to be the gatekeepers of children. We are supposed to stand in between them and danger. Not only are we failing to protect children, we are guiding them towards it. We are allowing these predatory musicians who aren't saints, they have no moral high ground, to prey upon the bodies of our children, to experiment on their bodies with untold consequences. Oh, the mic is muted. What? Oh. With untold consequences. And I just want to say, like right now I'm having hot flashes. I will deal with this for the rest of my life. If you think that this is because I hate trans people, which side doesn't want to see them suffer? Which side is saying no, do not destroy a healthy, living, functioning organism? How is it hate to say no? Give children a chance to grow into themselves. How many people hated their bodies during puberty? That's not abnormal. That doesn't require hysterectomies and surgeries and cancer drugs. A wave is coming that will rock this nation and it will rock the Western world like never before, and it's already started in the UK. You have 1,000 families filing a lawsuit because of what was done to children. If you're a parent and you know something is off and your child is involved in gender ideology, do not let them train you out of your internal alarm. If those bells go off, it's for a reason. We've evolved for thousands of years to identify danger. If you feel like this is wrong, if you feel a sense like, hey, I'm not sure, don't let them tell you to silence if there's a reason. Protect our kids. Thank you, Brittany. Okay, we're gonna finish. We have a gentleman that would like to talk. Okay, so here.
Wait.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I lost my. Yeah, need water. Need water.
Water? You want water?
Need water. Hello. Oh, sorry. Hello. To all the to all the drum beaters. To all the drum beaters. I have some words for you. Can't speak. Moonies, Scientology, Jehovah's Witnesses. There are plenty of other cults you can belong to. You can quit this cult. There are a lot of competing cults, and you can be brain dead idiots in those cults. Oh.
Yes, it's very tempting to talk to the protesters that have protested our free speech event. But you know what? There's no dialogue with them. They can't speak because the minute you ask them anything, they can't even tell you the difference between a man and a woman. They think men and women are the same strength. They have the same physical strength. The reason that they pound their drums and make all this noise is because they know they can't have a dialogue. They know they're on the losing side. That's why they come with their masks. That's why they come to intimidate women. That's why they bring their handmaidens with them. That's why nobody ever gets anywhere with them. Because the only reason they are here is to silence women's free speech in America. That is the only reason they are here. So I, tend not to engage with them. We have our final speaker. She's going to read a letter from a woman in prison that was in prison with a man. So this is our unheard voice that we're going to feature today. Here you go, Gab. You're just going to clip it right on your hair.
All right. Clip it right on my hair. Are we on? Are we in? It's falling up. Okay. Are we good? Okay. When we thought about this segment, we thought that there are women out there who cannot speak. There are women out there who are not allowed to speak. There are women out there who are suffering because they have no voice at all. So I reached out to Amy Ichikawa, and she told me about the women in prison. The women in prison getting raped by men. The women in prison having their spaces violated. The women in prison, the women who are already as down as you can get, losing their dignity. And when they speak, they get accused of sexual harassment, as if that were a thing that somebody who is being violated could do. They are victims of a society that refuses to respect the fact that they are a sex that is oppressed as a physical being. You cannot overpower a man if you're a woman. You cannot protect yourself from a man in a space that is so small that you can't even open your arms from side to side. These places are detrimental to the women in there. In the Geneva Convention, you are not allowed to put men in the same place as a POW woman. You are not allowed to put a woman in the same prison as a POW man. But here in America, we are putting whole-ass men in prisons with women, vulnerable women, and impregnating them. They give the women condoms and tell them to shut up. Well, guess what? I speak for the voiceless women, and we won't reach. You know what it is like to already falsely accused for murder when it was really an accident that occurred while your life was milliseconds from ending. You get not one but 2 life sentences consecutively. 25 to life plus 25 to life. Talk about overkill. The state of California essentially said you should have probably never married the love of your life if you knew this love was an abuser. You should have violated the many codes of silence embedded in your psyche more than 25 years, sought a domestic violence intervention, notified your employer you were battered, even though they probably would have terminated you because being battered is weak, and had your spouse arrested to potentially serve one of the life sentences you are currently still serving, taking your children and other parents away from them and leaving affected families, friends, and your community pissed off at you because you did what California now refuses to do. Tell the truth. Tell the truth about what, you might ask. About being worried. They have demanded you serve time in a women's prison to rehabilitate, but now have recreated the same type of toxic environment, made worse. They criticize you for suffering in when you were a criminalized survivor of domestic violence on trial because you failed to get out. That's right, California chastised you for living with an abuser who didn't have a criminal history, nor was an abuser a dangerous convict. But you are still at fault for not working hard or fast enough to protect yourself by breaking out of the marriage before unseeable tragedy struck. Now California no longer criticizes you for living with your abuser, surviving domestic violence, living by his code of silence, or failing to get out faster. Instead, they want you to be happy with him. Embrace and hug him, love him, accept him for who his mouth says he is. Push him around in a wheelchair, even though he's twice your size. Braid his hair, apply his makeup, fight other women over him. Stay quiet when he rapes you. Help him fight his bogus legal battle. And by God, don't try to get out to save your life and mental well-being. Be okay with the same set of circumstances that wrongly violence you now. Keep your mouth shut. It's the new way to rehabilitate. This is our foundation. We have played by all the rules, been extremely patient with all the ignorance and debated cruelty. We are sick and tired, and it's too late for Central California Women's Facility Warden Michael Polaris, the California Department of Corrections Director Connie Gibson, and the Secretary Kathleen Allison to make us feel important and safe when the male inmates have cussed us out, made us down on our own hands and knees and cleaned the floor with Windex, and stood outside the bathroom and showered while we did our business and washed our bodies. We watched him choke his girlfriend, who was our bunkie to the point her feet left the ground and dangled, swinging a heavy-ass chair past our heads to intimidate us, and threatened to put our heads through the cell window, demanding we not tell custody officers about all the violence he is causing in our cells. He flashed us his handmade boobs, very inappropriate, and asked us if we wanted to see his man-made lower part. And when we stood up for ourselves, he violated his own code of silence and had us evicted. To add insult to serious injury, we found out the prisoner administration placed us in his cell with existing knowledge he was inappropriate with women, a sexual harasser, abused his girlfriends and other women, challenged the COs to fight, and hated the program. But put you in a cell anyway as a bet to see how long you would survive him. A busload of his buddies show up to the CCWF years later. This vicious cycle starts all over again, but this time exponentially affects hundreds of women. This time, you are told at least one woman is pregnant and the warden is hiding it. A woman is drugged and raped in the anal cavity, in the porta potty on the facility yard, while another posts watch in broad daylight. Men falsely accuse women of assaulting them without a male inmate, without a consequence. But when you file a valid complaint of stalking and harassment against the male inmate, you are given the fabricated rules violation. Jailed in administrative segregation, that's solitary confinement. Evicted from your initial honor dorm you lived in for 8 years. Removed from your initial public affairs platform and endured other retaliatory tactics designed to divide and conquer women who speak. This torment is lived through every day. The warden works as hard as you to protect yourself, to keep the beg for mercy quiet, and the crimes concealed, the rapes uninvestigated, and the darkness covering every corner. Where this is a woman softly weeping because she remembers the days when we were forcibly commingling with convicted men from maximum security prison, mugging our pre-existing traumas, poking and prodding, reopening wounds, and sweeping away any chance of real rehabilitation because we are too busy trying to survive. No one successfully rehabilitates when they are in constant survival mode. Adding 300 more convicted men to the environment in an equation for inevitable female death, a life sentence. That's Tamika Johnson, currently serving 50 years to life in CCWF. I speak for the voiceless one.
And thank you, Gabs. And that's why we do it. That's why we do it. We're going to do this all across America. Nothing will stop us from raising our voice. Women will be heard. Thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Powerful words spoken by powerful voices. Thank you to Jennifer, Gabs, and Slightly Twisted, to all the guest speakers, to the silent voices finally given passage, to the men and women on our ground team, both seen and unseen, holding the line, to our moderators, to the Pittsburgh PD, to our viewers and supporters at home, now and in the future, and lastly, to the city of Pittsburgh for acknowledging our right to free speech. This has been Speaker's Corner in Pittsburgh, presented by Rev FoXX. I'm Sentinel, your stream host for this afternoon, signing off. Good night and good luck.